gives shelter to many birds, many animals, snakes, and sometimes also human being take shelter uh, at the shade of banyan tree. But if the banyan tree's fruits are very huge, then might be nobody would take rest under the banyan tree. So this is what the perfect design is, but we are unable to see everything because we are actually covered by many aspects, and our eyes were conditioned, or our senses were conditioned through many aspects. So we are unable to see the actual perfection behind the design, right? So this is the perfect design actually. In fact, everything is a perfectly designed. And this is also, we can see here, this solar system. And also there is a story behind this. Uh, Once Isaac Newton was in his lab, and Newton is completely theist. He actually he's a scientist, but he very well knew that everything is very perfectly designed, and from everything we know very little bit. So because he had one atheistic friend, and he actually never believed the existence of God, or maybe somebody has created this solar system. He always says that it is a natural phenomenon and naturally it is happening. So once actually he argued with Newton, and Isaac Newton thought that I must give him a teaching. So therefore he invited him for a dinner to his friend. And his friend became very happy, and he wanted to join the dinner with Newton. So he came very quickly in the evening. And before that, Isaac Newton, uh, he purchased a very beautiful model of solar system, 3D model, and he put the model on the dining table of the uh, center of the dining table. And when his friend appeared, and when they both of they sit down to take the meal, his friend saw suddenly a beautiful model, 3D model of solar system. Then he became very happy by seeing this, and he started asking Newton that who designed this beautiful model? Very beautiful it is. Who actually, uh, who is the maker of this? Then Isaac Newton smiled and he told, this model actually, it came out naturally. Hmm. Then that friend of Isaac Newton, he told, no, how it is possible that it will come naturally. Somebody must have do this, somebody must have designed this, somebody must have made this, some effort must have made. So then Newton told him that you are right. You are correct that somebody has designed this and somebody is the maker of this. But if you are thinking that for this small model, somebody is a designer behind this, somebody has created this model, how do you believe that the so beautiful solar system where many planets, many galaxies, many uh, satellites, they're rotating, they're traveling in its own orbit very precisely with a high speed? How do you think that it is came naturally? It must have some designer, and it must have been created by somebody. So then his friend became convinced that yes, it is true, because if we'll see in this world, nothing actually came naturally. Anything we see in this world, everything has a designer, everything is being created, everything is being made by somebody. Nothing is automatic or natural, right? Natural means so called natural. What is so called natural? Also, it is somebody is behind this, right? So, uh, the mass of Earth is 6 into 10 to the power 21 metric ton, and it rotates or it travels around the sun at the speed of 106,000 kilometer per hour. But we never realize this. We are sitting on the earth, we are walking, we are doing everything on the earth. I'd say like very huge spaceship. If you little bit contemplate, you are on a spaceship, and the spaceship is moving very huge with a huge speed, and all the facilities are there inside the spaceship, and you are enjoying there, playing, eating, moving here and there. You cannot feel it. Similarly, the Earth is a very huge spaceship, huge spaceship, where we are actually doing everything. It is so designed that the living entities can stay very nicely, and they can have different activities they can perform. So we can see the speed of the Earth is around 106,000 kilometer per hour, very huge speed, and we never feel it. Yeah? So there are various laws acting in solar system, and these laws are, we can say, law of gravity, four laws of thermodynamics. There are various laws which actually, in fact, we have discovered. No law is invented. Everything is there existing, and we are just discovering and giving some name, right? So law of gravity, it was existing since time immemorial. But Newton observed this characteristic, and he gave a name to it, gravitational law. And with certain assumption, he derived this equation of law of gravity, gravitational law, by some empirical experimental analysis, right? So of course there are many laws were discovered, but that is also not very perfect. Not very perfect, and it has certain imperfections, because Newton's laws of motion, conservation laws, Boyle's law of gases. Because if we'll see every law, it has certain assumptions. It is not perfect, it is not ideal. So, therefore, these laws are there, but it is not perfectly discovered yet. And we are seeing that every law has a lawmaker. Even in our states, also, whatever laws are there, it has a lawmaker, right? The government is making laws. Similarly, for the universal system, there must be some lawmaker. And who is that lawmaker? We need to understand who is that lawmaker. So it is not reasonable, really, thinking that the law is there, but the lawmaker is absent, right? So there are certain proofs of existence of God. So we can understand this from few designs from nature. So when we see actually People say that when we approach and people and we tell that the God is existing, people say, no, 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 God doesn't exist because I don't believe in God because I cannot see Him. So, what we see actually, we say that it is truth. But actually, many things we cannot see. It doesn't mean that they're not existing. There are many microbes we can't see. It doesn't mean that it is not existing. Hmm. There are many viruses we don't see, like coronavirus, we don't see also. But we are believing to somebody else who have seen this, right? Similarly, why we can't believe somebody who has seen God? We can believe, right? So the unseen can be known from the seen. If something is unseen, like coronavirus, right? We cannot see, but we can observe it through some symptoms, through some that is called seen, right? So therefore, we can see everything, or we can see the unseen through the seen, what we are seeing around us, right? Although we may not have seen the personality of God with our eyes directly, there are innumerable evidences to prove God's existence from the things that we see around us. If we look at around us, there are many natural phenomena happening. By observing that, we can understand the existence of God. Just by seeing front to front, God is not the proof that God is existing. So I'll say that unless I see God, I cannot believe. This is not the real. So there was just real incident happened based on this. So in Sri Lanka, there was a great atheist, and in fact, he's a leader, so-called leader in the Sri Lanka, and he never believed God, and he also created a group who support him particularly in this atheistic idea, atheistic philosophy. And during the time of the preaching of the ISKCON, when one center was established in Sri Lanka, this group actually they challenged that uh, if you can show us God, then we'll believe. The gods would talk to me, the gods would eat with me. Uh, then this person one day, what he did, that he many articles he wrote against ISKCON, and he declared in the media that saying that these people are actually spoiling our society, and there is no God, nothing. If the God is existing, he should come to me to meet me on this date and time at time this he should come and meet me uh, in the एक जगह का नाम दिया, that is very renowned name of that place, and in that place he should come and meet me if the God is existing. Because he was a leader, the media actually came forward and they took note of it, and they highlighted in television, newspaper, everywhere that this person had challenged God, and if God is existing, he should come and he should meet me uh, at this place, at this time. So now the question, and the same, gradually the time came, the day came, and he was waiting. All the media people, they're waiting, everybody is waiting. but God did not come. And he told in the media that therefore God is not existing. So then this media people they wrote uh, the same thing what he told. And against this publication, one of our ISKCON leader he wrote against this, why God did not come to meet this person. So now the question is, he wrote in that article that if a rickshawala, he will tell that the Prime Minister of India doesn't exist. If he is existing, he should come and he should meet me in Patna city, in Gandhi Maidan. So, will the Prime Minister come to meet this rickshawala? Even if he will highlight in this media that wherever he want, he can tell, he can highlight, but will the Prime Minister come to meet this rickshawala? He will not come. So this is the logic put forward by ISKCON. And it is clearly mentioned that why God did not come. Because God will not come. Like the Prime Minister will not come to meet Eric Savala, even he challenges that the Prime Minister doesn't exist. If he exists, he should come to meet me. So similarly, God will not come to a person, like an insect-like person. He will not come to meet, even if he challenges or whatever he do. Why he will come to meet him? Why the Prime Minister will not come to meet the rickshawala? Because the rickshawala is not qualified to see the Prime Minister face to face. He can see the photo pictures in the television, he can see, but he is not qualified to meet the Prime Minister face to face. And similarly, this person in Sri Lanka, he is also not qualified to see God face to face. He can see the picture, he can see the deity form, he can see in the television the picture of God, but he is not qualified to meet God face to face. So therefore, qualification is very, very important to meet certain persons. Like a rickshawala cannot meet Prime Minister directly. Similarly, a ordinary person cannot meet God directly face to face. Okay. So this is the very clear picture was put forward by ISKCON, and then the media people understood. Uh, so this is what actually, if we can see around us, many things, their design, their uh, the preciseness in the design. If we'll see it, we can understand the presence of God in it, right? So you can see here the picture of a bird and an aeroplane. Actually, aeroplane was designed very later. The birds were existing from time immemorial. And aeroplane, design of aeroplane is just the imitation of birds. The Wright brothers, they have designed just by imitating this flying of the bird. But still, aeroplane has many imperfections. Yeah? Like the birds can move, the aeroplane cannot move. Right? Very difficult. Similarly, this is there is a designer behind the aeroplane design. So is it will say that there is no designer behind the bird's design? There are certainly some designers, right? Somebody must be designing this bird, and we can see this submersible ship and the well. And this submersible ship actually designed based on the principle of the movement of the whales in the sea, right? So if we are saying that the submersible ship has a designer, and we'll say that there is no designer behind the whale's body, then it will be not so good to say that the whale is not designed. The body of the whale is not designed. It is designed. There must be a designer behind this. And similarly, we have many things like science of intelligence behind the existence. We can see many, like we see a painted rose. uh, When I see the painted rose, what we feel? We feel beautiful, beautiful rose. And somebody have painted this beautiful rose. uh. Similarly, a paper rose. uh, uh, a paper rose, when we see that somebody must have designed this paper rose, beautiful rose, right? Giving a shape of rose, right? And similarly, when we see the natural rose in the garden, when we see what we feel nothing because we think that it came up naturally. But actually, if we'll see the beautiful rose, the actual rose, it is much more qualitative than the rose made from plastic, made hmm, from the paper, or a painting of the rose. It has a fragrance, particular fragrance. It has a beautiful color combination. When we touch it, it has a soft petal, and the shape is so beautiful. Yeah? And also, it produces honey, which is being collected by the honeybees, right? So, therefore, who is the most intelligent designer? The painter, or who has designed this paper rose, or who has designed this natural beautiful rose? So that actually we're unable to understand. No? Those who say that the natural rose grows automatically do not know that automatically implies an invisible designer and controller. We can't see, right? Also, we can't see the designer of a paper rose or the painter of the rose. When we see the painting of a rose, we appreciate the painter in our mind, in our heart. Similarly, when we see the paper rose, we appreciate the design of the rose in the paper. But we never appreciate when we see the rose in the garden, we don't appreciate the designer. Why? He is also invisible. And the designer of the rose paper rose is also invisible to us. We don't know who has designed. But we appreciate very much the designer of the paper rose, but we never appreciate the designer of the rose in the garden. Why? Because our consciousness is made of like that. Our consciousness is attracted to matter, material consciousness. Therefore, we cannot appreciate the natural phenomena, natural things, natural design, which is being which is being done by God. It's difficult for us. Uh, so therefore, Albert Einstein, what he said, I simply trace the lines that flow from God. He never said that I did this invention, I did this. Uh, he is telling so humbly we can understand. Actually, the great scientists actually they understood what is their capability and what they did, what is their contribution. Therefore, we can see the humbleness of great Einstein and almost everything he gave in physics. What we are teaching nowadays, right? Almost everything he gave in the physics. And he is telling that I simply trace the lines that flow from God, right? We see wonderful creations around us, very beautiful creation, right? But we never appreciate. But we can appreciate this painting of Mona Lisa, right? The artist is, we have never seen this artist, but we know that the artist is Leonardo da Vinci, right? And we appreciate from our mind, from our heart. But this landscape, uh, also painted by David Copenhagen, is from, and and the natural landscape when we see, we never appreciate the design. But the painting we appreciate very nicely, right? We can see this landscape painting. This is by John Green, right? This is a natural landscape, right? When we see this natural landscape, we don't appreciate how beautiful it is looking, right? But we don't appreciate who has done this design so beautiful. Huh? It is looking so beautiful. Who is the artist behind this? Right? So therefore, this was another proof that the God is existing and He is the designer of everything. And again, we can see or prove through science of intelligence behind the existence. The intelligence we can see, satellites, Earth, and solar system. We can see a satellite. When an artificial satellite is sent to the orbit, so many effort we put, so many scientists, thousands of scientists, they work together. Uh, and when it is put also in the control center, many scientists they work together to monitor this small satellite, very small satellite. They monitor 24 by 7 what is going on. If little bit uh, something happens, it goes beyond the orbit, again some control is required to put into the orbit. So there are many things we can see here, the control center. Many scientists with a visualization, so many visualization they do, so many control parameters, and 24 by 7 they monitor a small satellite, very small satellite. And we can understand these big planets, the big satellites, natural satellites, they're moving in the orbit so precisely. And don't we think that there is an intelligent brain behind this, because we can see here so many scientists, so many intelligent scientists, they're working together to control a small satellite. So don't you think that to control this earth, the moving movement of the earth, the control of movement of other planets, control of movement of moon, uh, isn't there are many intelligent brains, they're working together? They're working, actually, they're working under the guidance of a super intelligence, right? He's God, right? He's Krishna. So this is the satellite monitoring, round the clock, critical observation of the critical parameters, right? Many critical parameters are there. Few are noted here: orientation, speed, velocity, orbit decay corrections, Earth satellite distance, heat dissipation, cosmic radiation. Many parameters are there. Similarly, we can see the Earth. Earth is so huge mass of Earth, huge mass of body, which is moving in a particular orbit with a high speed, right? So, isn't not that one intelligent brain is required to control this? Yes, it is required. That's super intelligence. Now, who is in control? Who actually controls? Hmm. So Isaac Newton says that this most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from counsel and dominion for an intelligent and powerful being. We can see the understanding of great scientists like Isaac Newton. He very clearly says that there is a powerful being who actually does all the control. Hmm. This being governs all things, not as the soul of the world, but as the Lord of over all. And on account of his dominion, he is to be called Lord God, universal ruler. This is the statement of Isaac Newton. huh? Then we'll see the brain. There is a comparison between brain and supercomputer, right? So you can see that nowadays the supercomputers are coming into picture. There are many supercomputers developed, right? And artificial Department of Artificial Intelligence, MIT, US, they have developed first supercomputer, right? And if we'll compare this supercomputer with the human brain, which is the most sophisticated computer in the universe, this human brain is the most sophisticated computer. We cannot compare any computer in this world with the human brain, because human brain has much more capable than a computer. The human brain can store more information than all the libraries in the world, right? No computer can do it, very difficult, right? And the human brain is made of a trillion brain cells, and each one of these is so more powerful and sophisticated than most computers around the planet today. This is one of the psychologists and educator. He told, right? Will the human brain not need a super intelligence designer? So that is what a super intelligent designer is required to design such kind of brain. Like we are designing some robot, something else, we become proud of that, right? Because so intelligent these computers, these robots are, right? Humanoids. But actually, who has designed the human body? We can understand. Who has designed the human body, human brain? How intelligent must we, right? He must be the most intelligent person in this world, right? In this universe. Now we can see some creations around. Likewise, we see wonderful things created by man, right? Cars, sleek cars. Someone manufactured it. Computer, trendy computer. Someone assembled it. Watch, elegant watch. Someone designed it. Architectural marvel. Someone erected it. A skyscraper building. Someone built it, right? Wonderful sculpture, someone carved it. Any creation implies a creator. Shouldn't this universe have a super intelligent creator? Uh, so this actually proves that everybody in this creation, how in this creation, whatever is designed, uh, so if we'll see around us any design, then actually there is a super intelligence behind this, right? Similarly, there are many things we can, if we'll just contemplate, we see the order and systematic arrangement in the universe. Amazing order, right? Amazing. Lot of uh, quite very beautiful order. And when the order, the natural laws are violated, then the chaotic condition is created, right? Like we are seeing nowadays, the chaotic situation because of the corona, because of the natural disaster taking place around the world, right? Around the world, everywhere now the natural disaster is taking place because we are violating the natural laws, natural phenomena, right? So, what is the origin of the universe? What is the purpose of this complicated universe? We have absolutely no experience of any object or system coming about by chance. Why and how then can we assume that the entire universe, with all its harmony, order, and structured organization, came about by chance? So many people say by chance it came out. So this universe by chance it came out, but how it is possible that the universe so beautifully designed, uh, so many planets are moving in order, and inside the planet so many creatures, so many things are there. So how it can happen that by chance it happened, by chance it came out? So therefore it's a $1 million question. It cannot be by chance, right? Sometimes we say Big Bang, and according to the Big Bang theory, everything began from a point of infinite temperature, infinite density, infinitesimal size, a point that is physically unrealizable, mathematically indescribable, beyond all conceptions of space and time. It should be emphasized that no theory of the origin of solar system has its own general acceptance. All involve highly improbable assumptions. This is in the Encyclopedia Britannica, right? So every theory we did behind the creation, whatever theory is prescribed behind the creation of this universe in the scientific world, all are with based on some assumptions. And nothing, here it is mentioned, nothing is accepted it as the original theory of origin of solar system or origin of this universe. Very difficult. So therefore, we cannot say that Big Bang is the uh, origin of this universe. Actually, the big brain is the origin of the universe, right? So not from the Big Bang, but it is from the big brain. That big brain is and Lord Krishna, God, right? So therefore, it's difficult now. Any machine we see in the around us, we say it has certain designer, it has some purpose to come. Similarly, this universe cannot be by chance, it cannot come out, right? Right. So now I can see some statements of few scientists, then we'll close. What do the best of the scientists feel? There is a perfect Einstein, there is a perfect brain behind all natural physical laws. Lord Kelvin. If you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. An equation for me has no meaning unless it represents a thought of God. Srinivasa Ramanujan. Those who say that the study of science makes a man an atheist must be rather silly people. Generally, this is the belief in us, right? When we are little bit read science and this, we don't believe in God. But we can see here the great scientist, Max Bohr. who actually got Nobel Prize for quantum mechanics. Right? He's saying that uh, no science. Those who say that the study of science makes him an atheist must be rather silly people. They're the silly people. Derek Barton. There is no incompatibility between science and uh, religion. There is compatibility always, and science shows that God exists. He is also a Nobel Prize winner, right? So therefore, scriptural statement also the same thing, right? Our Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Samhita says the same thing. So here in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "No one is superior to me, O Arjuna. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strong on a necklace." Right? So everything is actually coming from Krishna. Everything is resting upon Krishna. Vedanta Sutra says, Janmaryasya yatah. God is the original source and cause of everything. Okay? And sometime you will be lectured on who is God, you will understand properly. Brahma Samhita says, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. God has no beginning. Krishna has no beginning. For He is the beginning of everything. He is the ultimate cause of all causes. Okay? So therefore, we can see there are many things we can see in the universal system also. There are many designs, very perfectly they design, like water transport system, fruits, the symbiotic factory. We can see all these things. They are very, very beautifully designed. Uh, all necessities are provided for by amazing design, right? Food, water, mud transformed into citric acid stored in the portable biodegradable containers, right? So very beautiful. We can see the citric acid inside the lemon, how it is being coming out from mud, water, food, then, and it is being contained very nicely in a biodegradable container, right? The cover of the lemon, very beautiful design. We cannot design such design, make such design. No matter how hard we work to earn money, we won't get any food unless God produces it miraculously in the nature. You can see somewhere the land is barren, nothing happens. And somewhere it is producing very huge amount of grains, huge amount of fruits, flowers, right? So, and also symbiotic system, very wonderfully designed. We can see right here, we leave CO2 and CO2 is taken by the trees, and the trees produce oxygen for us for our living, right? Similarly, cloud is a massive mobile airborne aircraft proof water tank. It's a watercraft tank, right? Wherever it wants, it actually pours water, and is aircraft proof. Even aircraft goes inside it, it doesn't leak. uh, so therefore it is said massive mobile, it can move also. Wherever it wants, it pours water, right? Nowadays there are uh, many cloud bursting is happening in northern India also. Flash floods are coming because of this. So therefore, these massive clouds, they move with water, and wherever they want, they pour it, right? And aircraft also cannot leak the water out of it. So there are amazing system for transportation, filtering, storage, delivery, etc. Very beautiful, no? The regenerative water cycle, we can see very, very beautifully designed. We cannot do this kind of design. So duties of scientists, what should be the duty of a scientist? Uh, his prime duty of scientists are use one's intelligence to appreciate the inconceivable brain of the Lord, to glorify the mysteries of the Lord's creation and energy, to create worldwide spiritual awareness, to understand and explain the purpose of Lord's creation. This is very, very important, right? For scientists particularly. So therefore, it is very, very essential to uh, understand. So this is all. because we all are blind and we're following the blind leaders. We don't understand it. So there is a story we know, the blind, there are six blind men. They went and they saw the elephant. What they saw, whatever they touch, whatever they felt, they think that this is what. And this is exactly happening to us. No? Somebody touched the belly of the elephant, he thought it is the wall. The elephant is like a wall. Somebody touched the tail, he thought the elephant is like a rope. Uh, Somebody put on the tusk, he thought it is like a arrow. Hmm? Because they are blind, they don't know. So similar thing is happening to us. We don't understand, we're unable to understand the actual thing, the real thing, because we are following the blind. We are blind, we are following the blind leaders, right? So what did we learn today? We learned today, what we learned today we can discuss, and everything can give their comment, okay? Okay, so we'll stop here and we can discuss what we learned today. Uh, if you have any question, you can ask now.
Sir, what comment is there in chat box?
Aman Kumar is saying, but sir, bird is living and can fly at itself, but aeroplane can't fly itself. And that is true. Aeroplane cannot fly, bird can fly. So the bird is living, but how the bird is living? We are also trying to make the aeroplane living, right? Because anything moving, we can say it is lively. When it is how it becomes lively because of the touch of the spirit soul. So because human being has designed this, human being has given the intelligence in the design of aeroplane. So therefore the aeroplane looks like lively. Like suppose a child will look at an aeroplane, what he'll think? He'll think, oh, aeroplane is moving. But he doesn't know that the captain is there inside the aeroplane, who is actually driving it. So therefore, we are trying to make everything lively by giving our own energy, right? So being a spirit soul, we are actually investing the energy through the intelligence, through something else, right? So therefore, we are making things lively. Like a vehicle is moving, the driver, unless the driver is there, it cannot move, right? Similarly, the bird's body is like a machine, but the bird is moving because there is a presence of the driver, and the driver is the soul. Similarly, the human body is moving because of the presence of the soul. As soon as the soul leaves the body, what will happen? It will not move. Therefore, this body is also like a machine. And only thing is, it becoming lively because the soul is present. Similarly, the aeroplane is also machine, but it looks like lively because there is a captain inside the aeroplane. The vehicle is also machine. It looks lively because there is a driver inside it, right? So this is what we can say. Aman, you understood? Aman?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Mm, yes.
Okay, Jai. Hare Krishna. So without mercy of the Supreme Lord, can anyone worship to Lord or anything, whatever we want to do? Huh? What is this question? Without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, can anyone worship to the Lord? or anything, whatever we want to do. Yes, the mercy is required, of course, huh? But actually, everything is mercy of God, mercy of Krishna. Without the mercy of Krishna, we cannot eat also. We cannot sustain our life also. So everything is mercy of Krishna. So then, what to speak of worshipping Him? Worshipping is also mercy of Him. So without His mercy, how can we do, right? Okay, Hare Krishna, Vijay. Hare Krishna, how do we know what is the shape of God? Very good question. It is very clearly mentioned by Lord Brahma, Rupesh Pandey. Actually, it is very clearly mentioned, Pandeyji, that Brahma is telling that Venam Konantam Aravinda Dalayataksam Varhavatam Samasitam Sundarangam Kandarpakotikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. Eh? Lord Brahma is describing very nicely the shape of the God, the beauty of the God. Venam Konanta means he's telling that my Lord is playing a flute, very beautiful flute, and is decorated with a peacock feather. Varha Vatam Samat Asita Ambudha Sundarang. And what is the color of his body? His color is like a fresh cloud in the sky. Very beautiful color of the body, color of the my Lord. And he is how he is looking. He is looking much more beautiful than millions of Kandarpa. Hmm. Kandarpa Koti Vishesha Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham is much more beautiful than the millions and millions of Kandarpa. And therefore, he is God, he is Krishna. And he is telling Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam. Understood? Hare
Yes, sir.
Krishna. Yes, thank you, Rupesh. Thank you, Rupesh. Hmm. So, any other question? Saket. Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Shar, for giving insight into such natural and artificial things, interrelation. Okay. Thank you, Saket. Thank you very much. Huh? Okay. Okay, there is no question, perhaps more. So, will you stop?
Sir, I have a question.
Ah,
Sir, generally when we write paper or do some experiment then publish paper, they ask a lot of question that if something is unrealizable or unimaginable, they don't accept. And how this Big Bang theory, which is very improbable, got accepted
something is.
in something is very unrealizable or unrealistic. They ask a lot of questions that how can you do this experiment when we do experiment or publish paper. But this Big Bang theory, which you have told that it is very improbable
Hmm.
because high temperature, high density, so many assumptions are there. So how this
Yes.
scientific committee they have accepted this?
Still, they're believing this. Ah. So, your question is what? Your question is?
My question is, sir, we write very uh, small paper means doing some small things.
Ah.
Then they ask so many questions if we do something very unrealistic or which is not conceivable or is not
Ah.
possible. But here we see the Big Bang theory, which is experimentally it is not at all possible to do. Still,
Big Bang Theory, what happened? Little louder?
big sir, Big Bang theory, it is not
Hmm.
possible to proved by experiment, or it is not a very realistic thing. Means only assumptions are there.
Hmm.
So scientists, they have not asked questions that
Just a minute, 1 minute. Yes. You speak, tell.
yes, sir, I was
The
telling that
question is Big Bang theory is so unrealistic,
yes, sir,
but still people are believing this, right?
yes, sir, scientific community.
Yes, that is what actually this is very unrealistic, but because many scientists are involved in it, and many big scientists, they say something, therefore they are unable to challenge, they cannot challenge, but they can challenge the small scientist like you. Hmm. they cannot, they cannot challenge
Yes,
the big scientists. So a big scientist always can challenge the small scientists. But the small scientist, somebody like, if Einstein gives a very big theory of this Big Bang, then a small scientist cannot challenge him, right? It is difficult for him. So therefore, they don't put any conflict. They agree. Okay. There are many corruptions also in scientific community. We can't say it is very perfectly going on. Lot of corruptions are going on. Hmm.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, sir. Hare Krishna. Sir, one more question is there in chat box.
Lord Buddha also did not believe in the God but emphasized on self enlightenment. What is your opinion on this? Aman Kumar. Very good. So, about Lord Buddha, we must understand before commenting on this, because Lord Buddha's purpose was different. Hmm. Lord Buddha's Lord Buddha's purpose of appearing here in this world is different. So, therefore, we cannot say that Lord Buddha actually uh, did not believe in God, because Buddha Dev is himself an incarnation of Krishna. How we can say that Lord Buddha uh, is doesn't believe in God? Actually, he got this incarnation just to stop unnecessary animal killing. What was going on, right? So therefore, Buddha Deva's incarnation is very special. So therefore, Lord Buddha is himself Lord Krishna, but his because different incarnation has different role to be played. So Buddha Deva has different objective of coming here. His objective was to stop the animal killing by rejecting the Vedas, because by misuse of Vedas, in particularly in India, by misusing the Vedas, we are actually doing a lot of animal killing at that time. We are doing. And then Lord appeared just to reject the Vedas and to just to teach people that this animal killing is very, very nonsensical. If it is mentioned in the Vedas should be rejected. And then he taught people the non-violence, the theory of non-violence, right? And whatever you are telling, enlightenment or whatever he taught, right? Nirvana prapti, everything. But Buddhadeva's objective was different, though he is Krishna himself. And you will understand gradually in our lecture series. There are many lectures, okay? So you'll understand it. Okay, Aman, thank you.
Does anyone have any more question? So we can stop here, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Very
Okay,
beautiful
thank you.
lecture.
Thank you very much to all of you for joining this session. And thank you to our students who have organized this lecture. Thank you very much. So we'll stop here. Huh? Thank you, all the
Yes, sir.
participants.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.